I'm excited to share this next video. We at Chronic Behavior are a little bit obsessed with camera lenses and have been doing lots of research over the last few months. And we've run into some especially nice vintage lenses.
Hi everybody, Daniel here. Today I'm reviewing one of the most acclaimed vintage lenses, the Super Takumar 50mm f1.4. Now this one we got off eBay for $41. That's everything, shipping, handling included, all that, $41. Now this lens does have a bit of damage on the front, as you can see here. It doesn't affect operation or image quality. The lens works just fine. But of course I can't put a circular filter on it, so that's a bummer. So this is one of the later 7-element lenses. The earlier 8-element models are widely known to be sharper lenses if you were to do a head-to-head comparison with one of these 7 elements. And one quick way to tell the difference, if you look at the rear glass, if I can get this cap off, this one being a 7-element model, you see how the glass is fairly flat, whereas with the 8-element models, the glass is a lot more rounded and sticking out, though not to the extent that my crazy gesturing suggests. So that's an easy way to tell a 7-element from an 8-element. Okay, first things last. Yes, this lens is infamous for being one of the most radioactive of any vintage lens. And it's radioactive because of the thorium in the rear elements. Now, what kind of levels are we talking about here? From the research I've done, the lens emits 65 microsieverts per hour. In comparison, a mammogram is 3,000 microsieverts. A chest x-ray is 100 microsieverts. A plane trip from New York to LA, you'll absorb an additional 40 microsieverts because of the change in altitude. And it's the thorium in the glass that causes the lens to yellow. Hopefully you can see that. I'm trying to hold this up to a white light. If I can hold this still here. And yes, the yellowing does affect the image, though for me, I don't mind it. One thing, if you're considering getting one of these, if you focus to infinity, you see how the glass is going to jut into the camera body. I haven't had any problems. I've used it on a Panasonic GX80 and an EOS Rebel T3i, but it's something you'll want to consider depending on what kind of camera you have. Per the advice I received, the adapters I got have this flange that depresses the aperture pin. There's the aperture pin. And I made sure to get adapters that clear this auto to manual switch on the side of the lens body. Now, obviously, using one of these so-called and terribly named dumb adapters means that everything is manual. So if you prefer autofocus or controlling aperture in camera, then I've just wasted your time in watching this video. Alright, why did I get this particular lens? To have a high quality, affordable, and fast 50mm lens. So what's the big deal with a lens that can open up to an f-stop of 1.4? Going off a great piece of advice I heard in an interview with Bradford Young, we have on several occasions lit a scene with just the house lights. And like a lot of indie filmmakers, we find ourselves in situations where we have limited access to locations and actors, so we need our lighting setups to be quick so we can get everything filmed. Which really helps out when you're working on a project in which the entire crew consists of 2 people.
Sound speeding, camera rolling. Okay, here we go. I hope this is all in focus. Takumar insert, scene 1, take 1, soft sticks. And Bunny is helping me out today. So in quarantine, or at the stay-at-home order for the state, this is what you get to do, is you get to film by yourself and film yourself when you're a cinematographer. So I'm really excited because today, as mentioned, I'm talking about a Takumar lens that I got recently. And so I've been looking at the lens, and I'll show it here. I'll take it out of its little container here in a second. But there's so many great features about this that I just have to highlight some of the things specifically for me as a cinematographer that I really love about the lens. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that now. Okay, so this is what we consider a vintage lens, and it is a Super Takumar. It has a f-stop 1.4 that goes all the way to 16. 50 millimeter. And so this was a great find. And some of the, I guess the most important feature about this one that I really loved was the aperture range, is it goes from 1.4 to 16. But the cool thing about it, and I'll kind of flip it around, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, is that it has half clicks between each f-stop, so that you actually can click it from 1.4 to 11 and you have half stops all the way around. So it goes like from 1.4, and then there's a half click, and then 2.8, and then all the way up to 11. Now, the only difference is between 11 and 16, there's not a half click, but you have a lot of options in being able to really manage that at a manual level, which is really great. So the aperture is one of the major highlights about this, obviously, because you get such a wide open lens at a 50 millimeter range. You can film so much. It's crazy. We actually used this on a couple of different shoots, and it's come out really, really well. The next thing is the focus. So as you can see, I like to do manual focus now. Since I've been filming, I just learned to really love and appreciate the ability to be able to focus that. One of the things on this particular lens is it has a very wide, thick focus ring, so you can actually get a really good grip on it. And the focus ability is so smooth that you would never know that this lens was as old as it is. I think this is at least 40 years old, if I'm correct, if not even older, which is crazy because that is, you just don't find lenses a lot that have such a great focus ring. So this one has that, and I really appreciate that because it does make it easier. One of the other great things about this lens is the actual quality of images that you can get out of it. Now, because it is an older lens, the lens has some yellowing on it, so that does definitely affect the image quality. But I don't mind. It gives you a warmer image, and with different cameras, depending on how the normal imagery comes across, with this yellowing effect, it gives you actually a really beautiful image, and it does warm it up quite a bit. So from an editing perspective, I love it because I feel like I have a much wider range of options to make unique images in my film because of that just special quality of it. And the yellowing is because of the age. So again, when you look at these type of lenses, just know that's one of the aspects of it that you'll have to take into consideration when you're doing color correction and things like that. The last thing that I wanted to highlight specifically about this is that, again, all of the features when you're using this particular lens are manual. So you have your different adjustments on this. And everything is manual. So I don't mind manual again because as a cinematographer, I like to be able to control it. And I've become super confident with doing manual focus, manual aperture, manual ISO, nothing automatic at all. And on every camera that I use, I just automatically want to be able to control it. So that's one of the nice things is you automatically have that. And I said automatically, that's funny. Anyway, but that's what I appreciate about this lens. So hopefully you'll get a lot more information from the video, and hopefully you can check out one yourself. Thank you for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed it. You can find other interviews and videos at Film and Fashion Futures. And if you'd like to watch our current film releases that we have, check us out at Chronic Behavior Productions on our YouTube channel.